It has finally come. It has arrived. The waiting is over. Football games that matter are here, and we are here to finally make our preview, our predictions, our hot takes, everything that comes with the start of an NFL season here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. Joining me today is the marvelous one, Dan Marver, here on WCPT 820 AM, HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM Chicago, and on YouTube at The Sports Cubicle. And Marver, we have finally made it this weekend. We had some major games in the collegiate realm, but in a few short days, football will matter in the pro level, and we will get to see who will be heading to Super Bowl 60 this year. How excited are you to have football back in our lives?
Well, it's great because sometimes it gets to be a little, this time of year we got the baseball and maybe the U.S. Open tennis. So I think it just is a good time for it to start up. I mean, it's kind of weird still to me that they have the week gap between the preseason and the regular season in the NFL, but that's great for the college football. They can do a Sunday game between Notre Dame and Miami, Florida, for example, today. So that's a good thing. But I'm ready for it.
And I think a lot of people have an excitement because there's a lot of young talent in the NFL this year on a lot of different positions. There's a lot of exciting cities, and we just saw the major trade that happened between the Dallas Cowboys and the hated Green Bay Packers here in Chicago for Micah Parsons. So a lot of new faces and new places, a lot of new teams are going to be making runs at it, and I thought here it would be finally appropriate, finally time to kind of look at what the experts are thinking and make our predictions as we preview the 2025 NFL season coming up. And this actually comes to us from ESPN.com. NFL betting, each team's win totals, odds to win Super Bowl 60, and more. The Philadelphia Eagles put an end to the Kansas City Chiefs' bid for a third straight championship and entered the 2025 NFL season as co-favorites to win Super Bowl 60. They're at plus 650. The Baltimore Ravens also sit at plus 650. Philadelphia and Kansas City had been tied at the top of the odds at 6-1 earlier in the offseason. But the Chiefs are now the fourth choice at plus 750, just behind the Buffalo Bills, who are 7-1 to lift the Lombardi Trophy. The Detroit Lions hold down the fifth spot at 10-1, and the Green Bay Packers, following the massive trade Thursday evening to acquire Micah Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys, are now the sixth choice at 14-1. Green Bay had been 20-1 earlier in the week. The Cowboys dropped from 50-1 to 60-1. The Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, and Eagles each have a win total marks at 11.5. And here, ESPN has actually done us the favor of giving us all the different odds, who is going where, and what might be the future NFC and AFC championship games. So, Marver, I'm going to give you the top, let's do the top five first, okay? And then you tell me if these seem right. At number 1 is the Eagles and Ravens, as we mentioned. At number 3 is the Buffalo Bills. At number 4 is Kansas City. And at number 5 are the Detroit Lions. Do those sound like the 5 teams that should be the betting favorites this season in the NFL?
Yeah, they do. In fact, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. I mean, I think that's more of a competition than the Eagles in the NFC, because I think the Eagles have separated themselves a little bit more than the Chiefs came down to earth, obviously, and the Bills and the Ravens are still pretty strong. So I don't think there's that many new names in there. I mean, the Lions kind of entered the picture a little bit, but I don't know that they're ready to challenge the Eagles. So that might be the best 2 teams in the NFC. You don't see any names from the Eastern Division.
Well, it's
really.
funny you bring up that division, because coming in at number 6 was Green Bay, like we know, who was at 14-1, especially after the trade. But the Washington Commanders coming in at 18-1 alongside the Cincinnati Bengals. Why don't we stick with Washington for a second? Do you think the young sophomore and Jaden Daniels and this team that re-signed Terry McLaurin, has Deebo Samuel, do you think they have a legit shot of cracking, getting out of the NFC, and making a Super Bowl run at 18-1 odds plus 850, the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to have to play Philadelphia twice, which is to their detriment. But they don't have to play the Bears, so there won't be any Hale Daniels this year. So that's, unfortunately for them. But I think that they're a legitimate contender, but they're not going to win the East. I mean, their best shot would be wild card, and they'd be competing with maybe Detroit for that and whatnot. And actually, I didn't even hear anybody from the NFC West, now that I think about it. I mean, is there anybody there that's competing down the list there?
We will get, and yes, that actually coming right after Washington and Cincinnati. And just a quick addition, the Bears do play the Washington Commanders on October 13th on prime time.
Oh, yeah.
So
right,
you knew,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you knew the NFL was devious for that one. But as you mentioned, heading into the other side of the coast, you do have the 49ers at 20-1 and the LA Rams at 20-1 as well. I don't think a lot of people think those are the teams that are going to win anything, but they can be dangerous. Here's a name that I found very interesting. Two names in the AFC and the NFC at 25-1. The Minnesota Vikings and the Houston Texans. Do those surprise you that they're kind of low on the list of Super Bowl favorites?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we're really going to get a good idea of what's going on with this new Bears team, with Minnesota, Detroit, and Dallas. I mean, those are three strong teams to play, and they're all possible playoff contenders. So I think that's one thing to keep in mind. But in terms of what you're saying, it seems like the odds and the lineup are pretty much in line with what, reality in this case.
So I will tell you this. These are my two dark horses heading into this season. If you're trying to make some money, if you're trying to look smart, if you're trying to not go chalk, I think these two teams, one in the AFC, one in the NFC, have a really good chance of making a run if everything goes right. You have to get lucky in the NFL. We know that. And you could get them at 30-1 odds, 14-1 for the one team, 15-1 for the other. It's the Denver Broncos and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think both teams being 30-1 to go and win the Super Bowl. I think that is a steal. I think you have a great chance to see the best defense in Denver. Bo Nix might mature under Sean Payton. They have a decent running game. I think Courtland Sutton's a hell of a receiver, so they have some pieces there. And we know Tampa Bay could put up points. We know Tampa Bay is dangerous. We know they have a running game. So the question is, can they get out of a nasty NFC South that's just gross to play? But what do you think about that? Those are my two dark horses, my two sleepers this year, the Denver Broncos and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a point up at the NFC South. I mean, most years it's 9-8, but it's a very competitive division. So you get a team there that's going to be a higher seed than maybe they deserve. They might get a home game out of it in a wild card. So I think that's a plus for them. But I just don't see anybody challenging Philadelphia, honestly, at this point in the NFC. I think the AFC is a little bit more wide open. I mean, will Kansas City get there again? I mean, it seems like they were more human in the Super Bowl than they'd ever been. So, it might be a chance for Buffalo or Baltimore to sneak through. But I think there's like a division between the elite and the ones that are wannabes at this point. To be quite honest.
I think that's interesting that there might be a huge gap between some of these teams, especially as we get deeper in the season. And we know there's going to be a lot of injuries. The war attrition is going to take over. These rosters are going to look different as the months go on. And speaking as the months go on, speaking as time has gone on, the excitement has gone up and down. People are confident about Ben Johnson one week, not the next week. Same thing with Caleb. Who's the true number one receiver? Do they need an extra running back? But even saying all that, and me telling you, the audience, that the Denver Broncos and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are an interesting dark horse sleeper this season, sharing with them at 30-1 odds, including the LA Chargers, are the beloved Chicago Bears. So at 30-1 odds to win the Super Bowl, 16-1 odds to win the conference, and currently have an over-under at 8.5 wins. Marver, what do you think about where they have the Chicago Bears?
I think that it's an optimistic number. I mean, obviously they've improved the offensive line, and I think we'll have to see how the coaching goes. It seems as though it's a work in progress still. I mean, there's a lot of good talk, but it's hard to really tell in the preseason how things are going to go. So tonight, Monday night, is going to be a week from Monday night is going to be a real test to see what's going on, with the home game against the Vikes. So I'll look forward to that, but I don't expect them to, win as many as 10 games, honestly, and that's what they really need to do to be a playoff contender.
It's going to be a scary division. It's something that I mentioned to some of my co-hosts over at Bear Era, where you could, if you're looking for weekly Bear content and interviews with some of the best in the industry, check us out over there on YouTube ads, Bear Era Podcast. And one of the things I mentioned to the guys was this division has always been tough. It's a true test for Caleb Williams, for Ben Johnson, for the entire organization. And more specifically now, the moves they made to revamp the offensive line, like you mentioned, really comes at a premium now because you're going against Aiden Hutchinson. You're going against Micah Parsons. You're going against a scheme that is a constant nightmare against the Minnesota Vikings. So if the Bears win 8, 9 games, if they sneak into the playoffs with the wild card, I think we can all agree they earned it because you're not going to get anything for free right now on paper before the season starts from the NFC North, right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct on that. I don't see any way around it.
And I think this is a perfect time now because we've been able to break down all the odds, and you can check them out for yourself over at ESPN.com. NFL betting, each team's win totals, odds to win Super Bowl 60, and more as we preview, predict, and give our thoughts of the upcoming NFL season here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, with the marvelous one, Dan Marver. We're on WCPT 820 AM, Heartland Signal, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. But we have seen the odds. We have seen what might be going down, where the experts, the sharks, the pundits are all seeing these teams going. We know things are going to change during this season. We know games are going to be won that should have been lost. Games that are lost are going to be won. All of it is going to happen, but it is time to put our feet to the fire like we do these players. It is time to make our official predictions. So, Marver, I'm going to give you a second. This is what we are predicting officially. We are putting our stamp to see who wins this season between everybody at the Sports Cubicle. We are picking our AFC champion, our NFC champion, our Super Bowl matchup, our Super Bowl winner, and the season MVP. And to give Marver just a second, I am going to give Paul Chivari, one of our amazing co-hosts, his predictions that he sent to me. In the NFL 2025 season, the AFC champions will come out of Baltimore, as he has the Baltimore Ravens representing the AFC. Out of the NFC is the Washington Commanders, which means it's Super Bowl 60. We would get the Baltimore Ravens versus the Washington Commanders, and he has Jaden Daniels winning the MVP, and I think it is a very, very good pick, but that wasn't the only one. We also got something from Devin. This is from Devin. In the AFC, have to say Kansas City. Doesn't matter how they play in the regular season. Mahomes remembers who he is in the playoffs. And the NFC, pains me to say Packers, but after the Parsons trade, I have Green Bay. And I have the Chiefs over the Packers in the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift will win the MVP, and her and Kelsey will get married during the halftime show. So, Marver, you've had a little time to hear what the boys thought. Who do you have coming out of the NFC?
Well, I got a rematch, Philadelphia. They look too strong. I don't think you're going to have a local match between Baltimore and Washington. I think you're going to have Philadelphia is going to take care of Washington. They go head to head, and they may even go head to head in the playoffs, honestly. So I do see that. But I think Philadelphia just, as long as they can have the push, they should be okay.
And who do you have as your regular season MVP?
Oh, I mean, regular season?
Yes.
Or the Super Bowl?
No, regular season MVP.
Okay, that's tough. In the NFC?
Or in the NFL in general. I feel like the NFC has the favorites because Lamar and Josh have already won it. But, yeah, it could be anybody. Who is your NFL MVP?
I think it's going to come out of the AFC. And I haven't even said who's going to be in the Super Bowl from there, but I think it's going to be a rematch with Kansas City. I think Mahomes comes back to the top. He'll want to make up for not winning it last year, and he'll have a great season and a terrific Super Bowl. He'll be the MVP. Rematch. This time Kansas City will win.
Oh, my goodness. So far, we have two Chiefs, a Baltimore Ravens, which means everything falls now on, of course, me. As I start to think, as I start to ponder what this NFL season may bring. I think in the AFC, it's very easy. So once again, my dark horse Super Bowl, the teams that I hope and I feel pretty good about are Denver and Tampa Bay. But if you're asking me to bet the mortgage like I have my co-host here, I think out of the AFC, you have, if they have home field advantage, it will be the Kansas City Chiefs once again. And in the NFC, I do believe this is a tough year to bet. I do think that it's easy to go chalk and say Philadelphia. But I think the Green Bay Packers head to the Super Bowl as well. I have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl 60. The Kansas City Chiefs win another one and add to their legacy. Your regular season MVP, Joe Burrow. Marver, football is here. Football matters. What a great time. It's one of my favorite times of the year. What has you excited the most as we kind of wind down this segment? We know that the college football games have been hot and heavy and have been bringing us some classics already. We know that there's going to be some amazing storylines and things that happen this NFL season. What is one thing you want to see nationally in the NFL? And what is something you want to see here locally for the Chicago Bears as we get ready for 2025?
Yeah, for the Bears, obviously, I want to see good development of Caleb and better protection, so he's not scrambling for his life, and pocket pad, which he hasn't demonstrated really yet. So for the Bears, if they can exceed a 500 season in 9-8, that'd be wonderful. In terms of the overall league, I mean, I think it would be really great if you could have Buffalo and Green Bay playing home games in January. That's always a lot of fun.
That would be great. I mean, there is something, as much as we dislike Green Bay or, any rivalry around the NFL, when you have such great, aesthetics, like a cold January game, sometimes one of my favorite moments is, as much as I don't necessarily like Michael Vick, at least what he did off field, that game he had at Lambeau Field in the frozen tundra will forever go down in football lore, and there's something amazing about that, to your point.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are two teams that will be hosting games in the playoffs, honestly. But I still think they'll be knocked off maybe in the championship game for the NFC and the AFC respectively. But it will be interesting to see. Also from a media standpoint, that there's games with with the Thursday night plan and everything else on the Friday. So there's a lot of coverage and so we'll get to see how things pan out. We'll have a full slate of games, of a Thursday game this week and then the Sunday game without the Bears. So we'll see a lot of different teams that we don't see a lot because of the Bears. So we'll really get to see, a lot of the teams in the league that maybe we don't get to see when Bears play on Sunday.
That's a great point, and it's one of my favorite things when the Bears are on primetime or on a bye to just give my full attention to the rest of the league and also be able to enjoy red zone without the guiltiness of ignoring some of the things that's happening to the Bears game. For me, I'm looking for this, Marver. When it comes to the Chicago Bears, I'm looking for growth. I'm looking for competency. I'm looking to see that Caleb Williams is not only developing, but that he's picking up Ben Johnson's offense. I want to see Ben Johnson be able to outcoach different coaches in the National Football League. I don't want the Chicago Bears to have dumb mistakes like, clock management, timeout management, roster maneuvers like they've had over the last decade. You may not have the superstar Tom Brady like you're all hoping, or we all hope you might have. But if you have some decent leadership, some decent scouting, you might be okay. And that's what I'm looking for in Chicago. I don't need a Super Bowl. It'll be great. But I'm looking for incremental steps to see that you're heading in the right direction. And that starts in week 1 against Minnesota on primetime. Go and show everybody that you've been prepared, that you are prepared, that you know the playbook, and you're ready to execute it. That's what I want to see from Chicago, Caleb Williams, and Ben Johnson. For the NFL, I want entertainment. I want crisp, nice, good football, entertaining football. I want AFC championship games that could potentially be Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, you name it. That's what I'm looking for come January. And on the NFC side, I want to see if Jaden Daniels is the truth. I want to see Caleb Williams get himself into that level. I want to see Jalen Hurts go for a repeat. I want to see if Patrick Mahomes can go ahead and shut all the haters down. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see something crazy we haven't seen before. Like I mentioned, my dark horse Super Bowl. Give me something big. Give me something different. Give me something exciting, because there's a lot of great football in the NFL right now, a lot of great players, and there's a lot of potential to have a great season in 2025. Marver, football is here, buddy. It is time to put the bets down, to make the parlays, to make the confidence picks. Set your fantasy lineup, my friend. Football is here. Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a Pearl Harbor Super Bowl with LA and Baltimore, but other than that, I think it's going to be an interesting year. We still have a little bit of time, and with no NFL this weekend, you can still sort of relax until things really heat up in a few days. So, enjoy the Labor Day, have your grill ready, and get ready for football a few days later.
Couldn't say it any better, my friend. Hope you each have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Enjoy all the college football. Enjoy high school football being back on Friday nights. And, of course, enjoy the National Football League coming back. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us on this edition of the Sports Cubicle here on WCPT 820 AM, HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago, and of course on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. For the marvelous one, Dan Marver, for Paul Chivari, for Devin Tingle, I'm your host, Mike Mercado. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We will see you on the next edition of the Sports Cubicle right here on WCPT 820 AM, Heartland Signal, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago, at the Sports Cubicle on YouTube.